What's up everyone, welcome to episode 1 of my new series, how I went from 3-0 to 5-5 within 1 year. In this series, I'm breaking down the specific shots that made the biggest difference in my game, the ones that I knew I had to learn, and I believe every player should add to their bag if they want to improve their game. Today, I want to kick off the series with my newest weapon that I just learned recently, two-handed backhand drive. I don't come from a tennis background, so it was actually kind of tough for me to learn. I believe everybody should learn this shot because it just makes you much more dangerous, especially in today's game where game is faster and faster every single day. People rely on it because it gives you 3 major advantages over the one-hander. First, you get more stability. Second, you get more power. Third, when you're under the pressure, you can just be more dangerous instead of slicing the ball. One-hander backhand, which is super inconsistent and just feels really flimsy. The truth is, as you climb past the 4-hole level, nobody really uses that one-hander drive. So if you want to compete with faster, better players, two-handed backhand drive is for you. So let's get into it and let's talk about it, how you can also add it to your bag. So step 1 is finding the right grip. To start off, I experimented a lot with different types of grips, Western, semi-Western, continental, you name it. But for the two-hander, what worked best for me is the same grip that I use for my forehands, which is kind of continental, my dominant hand, and adding the second hand at the top and placing one finger like this on the side. I feel like placing the finger on the side gives me a little bit more stability and power. If you put the finger more at the top, I feel like it can give you better control. Now, the grip is definitely a personal thing as long as you are comfortable and making clean contact with the ball. But if you're unsure where to start and how to start hitting it, I would recommend going continental or the same way that you hit your forehand drive, adding the second hand at the top and placing the finger on the side. If you've seen some players use 2 fingers at the top, it gives more control, but you are sacrificing a little bit of power on those shots. All right, so here's what I focus on, all right? This is my clean footwork that I always think about or try to think about before hitting the backhand drive. So let's imagine I'm standing in the middle and I read that the ball is coming to my backhand, right? I am split stepping to the ball, stopping, putting my leg in front, even though my full weight is loaded right now on my back foot when I'm putting the leg in front of me, right? Split step, I'm coming in, leg is in front, this leg, the front leg, is facing the post. The other leg is not fully straight for me because I want to get this little rotation from my hips, right? Get in the crossover step, and I'm hitting that. It's all about the footwork. You want to stay low. You want to stay low. You want to transfer all the weight from your back foot to your front foot, and you gotta make sure that you're always staying low. What they do wrong is once they're hitting, they're standing fully up. You don't want to stand fully up. You want to stay low. You want to raise up a little bit just to get a little bit more power when you're twisting, from your hips. When you're rotating, you want to stand up a little bit, but my legs are still bent. It's not just step, swing. Everything's supposed to be smooth, right? We want to explode. We want to explode into the shot. If you're not really exploding, you're not really going to get any power behind the ball. Arguably, it's not about how strong you're hitting with your upper body. It's about how fast you're exploding with your hips. That's where all the power comes from in your two-handed backhand drive. Exploding. So what works for me is staying low and compact, right? I don't want a huge backswing because it just feels inconsistent, right? So you want to drop the paddle and you want to get below the ball, right? So I want to get below the ball, and my paddle face is not really closed. It's kind of slightly like tilted like this to get a little bit more brush, top spin on it, just so we can keep the ball in if we're putting a lot of power behind it, right? So then I'm swinging through the shot, right? I'm trying to extend as far as I can before answering, the phone call right here behind my ear. So yeah, I don't want to go right behind my ear because that's just basically a drop shot, right? You're not getting any extension, which means you're not really getting any power. You're kind of just dropping the ball, right? The key is extending, I almost hit my partner, extending as much as I can before answering that phone behind my ear, right? So what really matters is letting your non-dominant hand do most of the work. I would say about 70 to 80%. So for me, that's my left hand because I'm a righty, and if you're a lefty, that means your right hand is doing most of the work. So again, right, so the swing path, paddle face is kind of closed, the ball is coming, we're trying to extend as far as we can before finishing the behind the ear. So this is what we get, right? We incorporating the footwork and the swing. I'm not taking a huge backswing and turning, right? Trying to stay compact, trying to stay low, and just putting everything together now, right? I know I keep mentioning staying compact, but a big key. So you don't want to be reaching out wide to hit the ball, because you're gonna hit a few shots like this, or you're gonna be like, oh wow, like easy said that works for me. No, it's just so inconsistent if you're reaching and don't have your elbows kind of bent. So you want to keep your elbows bent, like I said, compact, no big swings, no reaching you're off balance right away. So again, you want to stay compact, you want to come to the ball, use your legs to get to the ball, because if you don't get to the ball off balance, you're reaching, you're falling, you're dreaming, you're sleeping. So the last step adding to this shot right here, follow through and recovery. All right, so let's continue talking about the follow through, right? So this is not just to look cute, but it helps you to stay relaxed and it's carrying your momentum forward, right? That's why we want to extend and finish behind our ear. That keeps our body just in general relaxed. It's not about just hitting clean drives and thinking you're gonna hit clean winners every time. It's not about looking so cute on the court, like, you know, like, oh wow, I'm extending, looking cute. No, staying on balance, coming back, ready for the next shot, especially in singles, right? Like, you're hitting it, coming back right away. Doubles, same thing. For the recovery, I focus on making sure that I'm coming back to a neutral stance, right? So, hitting my drive, coming back to a neutral stance. Hitting back, coming to neutral stance. Hitting back, coming to neutral stance. Hitting back, coming to neutral stance, right? This is what it's about. It's about the recovery and being ready for the next shot. So like, there's a kid literally just hitting benches for no reason. She's angry. She's continuing to be angry. And she's done being angry. Okay, so like I said, I got punished for this a lot of times after like I finally learned how to hit a two-handed backhand drive. Right away, get back to neutral stance. Don't learn this the hard way. Learn this the easy way. Wow. You know what I did there, right? The easy way. A good two-hander is not about the power. It's not about how good it's looking. It's about the setting up next shot, right? So focus on the technique. Don't focus too much on the power. Try to get the ball in. Try to place the ball where you want it to place. A clean follow through and recovery after the shot will just make you so much more dangerous on the court than hitting those one-handed, flimsy, inconsistent BS shots. Like, what is that? How do you even, like, I used to be hitting shots like this when I was a 3-5. It was working, but once I added this, I just became way more dangerous. Danger, you know what I'm saying? So the best drill that I like to do to work on my two-handed backhand drive is making it as natural and as game-like as possible. So the person that's gonna be tossing the ball to my backhand is standing at the net. I'm starting kind of in the middle, right? She tosses me the ball to my backhand. I'm split steading, focusing on the technique, especially not too much power, stepping into it and hitting the clean drive. I forgot to mention regarding the contact point, which is probably one of the most important steps as well, is hitting the ball in front of this front leg. I don't think I mentioned this, but this is very, very important. So good thing I remember while doing the drill. So keep remembering that clean contact point is going to be in front of your right foot, in front right here. So I'm hitting the ball, coming back to the middle. She tosses me again, and I'm making it as game-like as possible. And I want to remind you, I didn't play tennis. This was all about hard work, practice, and especially this drill, right? Coming back to the middle, waiting for the ball, staying low, split steady, going into the ball, making the clean contact, in front. All right, guys, thank you for watching. I hope you guys learned something new. There's so many videos on YouTube about this, but this is what kind of worked for me, and I think it will work for you. I started working on a backhand drive about 3 months ago, and I'm feeling pretty confident now. Just remember, right? We want to rotate from our hips. This is where all the power is going to come from. It's follow through, making the contact in front of you, extending, finishing behind your ear, and you're going to be hitting deadly backhand drives like this. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.
Police is coming for you. It's dangerous.